What I'm talking about here is getting health advice from people who are untrained, who have little to no nutritional knowledge, and are giving advice like it's fact. Welcome to another episode of the Meat Medic podcast. Today, I wanted to talk about the risks of getting health advice online. Now, I'm aware, of course, of the irony here that I am giving you health advice and you're probably watching this online or you're listening to it online. I'm aware of the irony, but what I'm talking about here is getting health advice from people who are untrained, who have little to no nutritional knowledge, and are giving advice like it's fact. Now, I'm going to give an example. Recently, I was on Reddit and I quite like Reddit. It's quite good fun. But it's a couple of subreddits that are pretty poor when it comes to nutritional advice. Now, interestingly, they are the r/nutrition and the r/healthy food. These are two that I'm on that I have a look at sometimes and occasionally comment on. And pretty much they are full of people who are, let's face it, addicted to eating terrible food. You just go on them, have a look. Guarantee you most of those posts are going to be about eating sugar, drinking soda, drinking beer, etc. And people are going to tell you that it's fine, that it's healthy, that it's good for you. Now, I recently did a screenshot. I'll put it up on the video if you're watching this online on YouTube. Of a thread, a comment basically on one of the threads that got numerous upvotes. And it was basically saying that, effectively sugar doesn't cause type 2 diabetes. And this was upvoted numerous times. I questioned it and said, okay, well, what does cause diabetes then if it's not sugar? And that was downvoted repeatedly. And this is the problem we face. When you go into an echo chamber, and some of these online groups, Reddit's just one example, they can become an echo chamber of people that just want to all share the same opinion. Now, the problem is they can become very dissenting and very angry at opposing opinions. And that's not good. Nobody wants an echo chamber because then you only get one side of the story. And often it's incorrect or wrong. In this case, it was flat out wrong. Yet people were upvoting it. Now, anyone that's going to genuinely be looking for a nutritional advice that's wondering about sugar, they're going to see that. They're going to see it upvoted and they're going to think, oh, sugar's good. Sugar's fine. In fact, sugar's probably good for me. But it's not. Now, unfortunately, we see this time and again. People trying to give health advice on the internet. People pretending like they know what they're talking about. And they get a little bit of knowledge and then run with it. Now, most of the time, I would wager these people are not qualified. They're not nutritionists. They're not dietitians. They're not doctors most of the time. Now, some of you are going to be thinking, oh, yeah, but come on, these people don't know anything anyway. That's possible. But at least as healthcare professionals, we have some training. We have some knowledge. And we know when we're saying something blatantly wrong. We might differ on some of the finer points, but I'm not sure any health professional is going to say sugar doesn't cause diabetes. At least I bloody well hope they don't. Taking health advice from random strangers on the internet is not a very good idea. Unfortunately, I see this time and again. I'm active on a lot of health forums, on Reddit, on Facebook. I see it time and time again. People go on there asking for health advice. Not that long ago, I saw someone, and to be fair, it was on a carnivore group, and they were asking about their problems with their legs. Now, I can't remember if I covered this in one of my previous episodes or not, but I'll reiterate it if I did. Now, they basically were having issues with their legs. They were having these kind of strange cramps. They couldn't really work out what was going on. And then, of course, everybody said, oh, it's electrolytes. It's oxalates. Nothing to worry about. Just keep going. Now, as a doctor, I couldn't really just sit idly by and let them say that. So I actually started posting and said, look, from what you're experiencing, what you're describing, this sounds like intermittent claudication. You've probably got peripheral arterial disease in your legs. And this is really bad. And you actually need to get this looked at. And there was a bit of backwards and forwards with this person. And they basically then said, yeah, actually, I think you're right. I'm going to go to the doctor. And they did. And it was. Or at least I'm pretty sure that's what they said. Yet all these untrained people were giving advice, giving health advice. And if this person had taken that health advice, look, to be fair, they might have been okay. Or they could have been left with catastrophic disease, catastrophic damage, because they didn't get their peripheral artery disease looked at in time. Now, that's just one example. But then we've got examples, like I said, on Reddit of people saying, oh, sugar doesn't cause diabetes. Don't worry about it. It's only a problem if you already have diabetes. I mean, what bullshit is that? The problem is people are going to listen to that advice. There was another thread I came across recently. Somebody was asking, I didn't screenshot it though, but someone was asking, is it okay if I eat pizza 4 times a week? Now, I posted on there saying, well, look, perspective depends what you're replacing the pizza with, or replacing with the pizza, sorry. If you're otherwise going to just eat garbage junk food, well, takeaway pizza is just garbage junk food anyway. Does it really make that much difference? Probably not. It's all garbage. But again, a lot of people posting on there saying, don't worry, it's fine. It's healthy for you. Just go and put vegetables on top and it's good for you. Don't worry about it. It's absolutely fine. Everything in moderation. Except I think 4 times a week eating pizza is probably not moderation. Yet these people were actively encouraging the original poster to just go and eat pizza 4 times a week, telling them that this was healthy, that this was fine. Don't worry, you're young. It'll be fine. These people don't know this person's medical history. They could have a significant family history of heart disease or stroke. They could have gallstones brewing. They might be severely metabolically unwell. This person could be already morbidly obese and diabetic. They didn't volunteer that information. They didn't say they weren't. But then everyone is telling them, don't worry, this is all fine. It's not a problem. This is the problem we see on the internet. And it's really disappointing to see that, unfortunately, this is across all groups. This is people who are vegan, who are carnivore, who are everything in the middle. They're all guilty of this. And that's a problem because people are getting really bad advice. The other side of it, of course, is the people that ask for the advice. Now, I get it. People either don't want to go to the doctor or maybe they can't afford to see the doctor. I get that. I do. But that doesn't mean that we should be asking random strangers on the internet for medical advice. I've seen people asking like really serious medical questions. And they're not asking it on, like Ask Docs on Reddit or on Quora or something and, asking the doctors and healthcare professionals. They're asking totally random strangers. And these totally random strangers are giving them completely bogus advice, which is probably just dangerous. And these people are just taking the advice. They're just lapping it up. They're just saying, yeah, okay, that's great. Thanks very much. I don't need to go and see my doctor now. Sometimes as a doctor, I kind of have to step in and just say, look, this is really dangerous. It probably doesn't win me any votes, but at the same time, sometimes you got to just step in. I guess the question is then where do you go for that health advice? Well, ideally, I'd love to say go see your doctor. But as we all know, and is a theme on, of course, my channel, the podcast, not all doctors know what they're talking about. Not all dietitians know what they're talking about. Not all nutritionists know what they're talking about. I guess the question is, how can you judge who's good, who's bad, who knows their stuff and who doesn't? Well, look, that's a tricky one. I'm not sure I've got a magic answer for that. But what I would suggest is first, don't just listen to random strangers. They might be right. Chances are they're not. The second thing is try and seek out people that you know have at least some training. Healthcare professionals, dietitians, nutritionists, doctors. Ideally, well, ideally in the space that you're interested in. But again, we don't want the echo chamber. That's not good. That makes it hard, I know. But this is where, if you're going to go on the internet and ask for advice, I think the onus is on you to do some legwork and find out who you're talking to. Research them. Research me. That's fine. Go on to APRA. You can see my medical registration. Ring up my old university. You can inquire as to my, medical qualifications and so on. I haven't got a problem with that. I encourage all my patients to do their own research when it comes to their health. That means researching their doctor, then great. Yeah, absolutely. If they've written books, go read the books. Just don't take advice from random strangers on the internet. It's not a great idea. You might end up with some trouble. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Meat Medic podcast. If you found this useful at all, hit the like button, share it, comment down below. I want to put a thank you to all my valued Patreon supporters who subscribe to me. It really does help out me, my podcast, and the channel. If you're interested in supporting my channel and becoming a valued Patreon member, getting early access to extra podcasts, highly detailed, highly researched episodes in video and podcast form, please check out my Patreon at themeatmedic.com/Patreon. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next episode.